Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. You're about to begin a year of personal good fortune, good luck, and prosperity. And it starts in June of 2025 with Lord Jupiter exalting the sign of Cancer, bringing a huge amount of blessings to you. And on top of that, Venus also blesses you in your career gains as well as social influence and friendship circles in the month of June. But June is beginning a whole big fresh air thing. We have four planets changing signs. It feels nothing like April. It feels nothing like May. This is so very, very different. So we're about to describe this in chronological order, bit by bit, as the month goes, what you can expect, what the sky is giving you, so you can kind of work with the sky, move towards what is good, and maybe navigate away from what is not so easy. If you're new here, by the way, I am Lori Lothian. I'm using Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology. I love fixed stars, and minor asteroids make a big part of my production stuff every month. I put out a lot of content, and it's always all signs. If you're new, give me a try, like, subscribe, and see if it isn't something that's totally up your alley. I always share one promotion or two every month I put these out, and I just want you to know about it because it's an opportunity to reach you. If you want to learn to be your own astrologer and time your best life, come take my class with me. It's happening in July and August, 6 weeks long. It is the sixth time I will have taught this, and it's literally how to know how to read your own chart enough to make predictions and forecast your own story. So that timing your best life is the point of the class. It's not a navel gazer. It's how can you use timing tools because you know enough basic astrology to use them. And also my 2025 All Signs Bundle, 12 videos, 2 hours each, PDF guidebooks for each separate sign. Why don't you grab it half price below? When I say below, there's a more button, ... Look below. Everything about me, including my website, including my readings, is all in the description box below the video. Now let's get going and talk about the month of June. And I am so entirely pleased for you. Once every 12 years, you get this Jupiter transit through Cancer. Once every 12 years, you get this chance to have superior positive developments in your life. If you're listening for your sun sign today, think of your sun sign as your purpose and career. Think of your moon sign as kind of connected to home-based matters and where you live and your residence and your home. And think about things to do with your rising sign. It's circumstantially almost anything that could occur in your life. The rising sign is your avatar in the video game. It's your character in the simulation. It literally is the circumstantial elements of reality for you. So often you'll find rising sign to be very accurate, but I find sun is secondarily so, and the moon next as well. So listen for all three and see what you think. Let's do the chronological story. Plus we have a beautiful new moon blessed by Jupiter in the sign of Cancer as well. You can't go wrong, Cancers. This is a good time to be you. Remember, this is general bell curve astrology. This is a general prediction for a whole sign. It will never be nearly as accurate as if you have a professional astrologer read your chart. That said, let us begin. The rising sign is right here. There's ascendant in Cancer. I just put that there so I can navigate the chart. But again, your sun and moon is just as useful for you. As we begin the month of June, chronologically speaking, Venus is co-joined with Chiron, helping you to heal a wound in your 10th house around purpose and meaning in your career and the use of your unique talents and gifts for the highest good. This is something that you've been working on defining since 2019, and Venus is giving you a bit of a perk here as she helps you remove some of the obstacles to being on purpose with your talents and gifts in this world. And she might give you a guide, a teacher, a mentor in a professional setting as well during this first 2 or 3 days of June. As we continue, though, she begins to sextile Jupiter, and this is in play all the way through from the 1st to the 7th, but it's most exact on the 4th and the 5th of June. Venus is talking to Jupiter, and the two benefics, well and detriment, still have power to be supportive and helpful to you. And what this can indicate is something along the lines of the following themes. Maybe in the first week of June, epicenter the 4th, 5th, and 6th, you might find yourself having a lucky development, a positive development in your career, work, and reputation space. With this kind of energy, it comes from the backroom deals and negotiations that Jupiter's doing on your behalf, or things that you've been working on privately behind the scenes in your downtime alone that are now going to have prosperity attached to them. This can also deal with some kind of increase of money connected to friends, allies, benefactors, and an elder sibling. All of this is to say, it just looks good on you. And this money that comes your way, or this prosperity, or this elevation indication of success in career and gains of your career are going to feel like you just really got lucky. And you did some work to get here, because Jupiter spent a whole year in your 12th house helping you come into a deeper truth in life about what you really want in your purpose, in your career, and in your life path. So you've been working on this deeper layer of meaning and dharma for almost a year. And so now you're capitalizing on some newfound clarity as Jupiter is finishing his journey of 12 months through your Gemini sky, your 12th house. On June the 6th, Venus will cross into Taurus. Now, this is lovely because this is called the house of good spirit, but it is the direct gains of the career. Second from the 10th, indicating you are going to find that your salary, your income, your benefits, your rewards, your celebrity, your success metrics in your career are going to be benefiting from her transit here. And she's going to spend a good amount of time here, by the way. So all the way through to July the 4th. So June the 6th to July the 4th, no complaints here. It looks like you're getting a very nice glow up in the gains of your career directly. A sibling one older than you can be a beneficial ally in these gains. Friends and allies and benefactors show up out of the woodwork to help you out, give you favors you need, show up as there for you. You might also find this transit is really good for your social life and having more fun with groups of friends and belonging, and having a sense of really enjoying the pleasures of social time with other people. If it's not that social, then it's really focused on the career. And even some of the collegiate coworker space colleagues may be benefiting you directly, really willing to step in and help you in some way. So it does mean for a lot of you a greater increase of income directly connected to career and purpose. If you're retired, then maybe go towards the more social aspects of your life being blessed and increasing dramatically and in positive ways with some surprises. We'll get to that later. Now, as we continue forward, you'll notice that Mercury is also in a sextile to Mars. Hey, this is important. Fortunate energy in this sextile is available to you, and it can indicate something to do with spending or earnings. This money where Mars is sitting is getting a beautiful support structure from Mercury. You'll feel it playing out the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of June. It could be an elevation of financial gain if you make international digital borderless income and revenue. It could be spending something like an expenditure, but you have all the money you need to get it done. Like you have fortunate abilities to pay for the thing you wish to purchase or the expenditure you want to have, happen or do or whatever. I find it interesting with the moon traveling through Libra, your 4th house at the time of this. It could definitely indicate something to do with the home expenditure, needing to get a new car, something for the house, but you have ease in negotiating or getting the deal you want. Thank you, Jupiter, and thank you, Mercury. As we go and ease and flow in cutting out a dietary habit or style that's no longer needed or good for you. And that's good too around that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th of the month of June. Now, Mercury will come into the arms of Jupiter at 29 degrees of the sign of Gemini. And they're going to do this on the 7th and 8th of the month. And this is definitely good news, but it's good news or prosperity through deals, negotiations, backroom deals and negotiations. You could have a powerful dream at night. You could have one of those like game-changing, profound, big dreams, with Jupiter, Mercury here. And that could like game change your life. Like you have like one of those dreams that like at night nocturnally that tells you the meaning of something profound, especially when it comes to purpose and career in your chart. But if it's not that esoteric and all that dreamy, meditative, contemplative stuff, then you might get a chunk of prosperity or good things happening because of the Mars sextile from foreign places, foreign lands, and distant shores. And ka-ching, looks like a bit of a prosperity commercial yay you moment. Yes, and it's pretty exact on June 7th and on June 8th. If somebody is in a hospital setting, you will prosper from it. Yes, that happens sometimes. And Jupiter tells us that you'll get bounty from some solar figure, father figure, maybe not doing well physically, maybe in a hospital, maybe that could happen for some of you. Just saying. Now, as we move forward and we move into around June the 9th, you'll notice that Mercury jumps the fence into the next sign. Mercury is now in your sign, and Mercury will be here for quite a while until June the 26th. So from June the 9th to the 26th, you have a lot of ideas. You're thinking a lot. Hopefully you're paying attention to your dreams at night because he's still the dream messenger. Mercury in your first house can be a lot of communicating, negotiating, deal making, but also ideating and thinking. And who are you communicating with? Anybody. It's just you've got the mercurial impulse going on here. And as he steps into this part of your chart, the first thing he does is he comes into a square to Saturn and to Neptune, indicating that you have a bit of a reality check going on about your career, about your reputation, about your social standing. You're looking at the top of the sky with that Saturn reality check. Saturn is going to be here for a long time. He moved into Aries last month, but you're kind of like, okay, well, I want to be serious and realistic about my visions and goals to be on purpose and align with my gifts and talents in my career. And Mercury's giving you the mental power and the thinking power and the communicating power to make that true. So you're going to work with that square. Sometimes squares just bring us into like decisions and actions that are important for our lives. And you're going to be doing some of those decisions and actions as a result of this transit. Again, June the 9th to about the 10th, 12th, you're going to really feel this tension between Mercury and Saturn in your 10th house of career and reputation. If you have a boss or authority figure that is difficult for you, somebody above you in the workplace, this is going to be some hard conversations with somebody in the work setting as well around this June the 9th to maybe the 10th, 11th, 12th timeframe. Now, right after Mercury moves into this part of the sky, Jupiter follows right away afterwards. And boom, hang on, Jupiter. There we go. So when Jupiter follows in, he kind of bonifies things. He's trying to smooth out some of the turbulence you might have been feeling, like tough convos with the boss or someone in power or authority, even tough conversations with a father or father figure. And then Jupiter comes in and smooths it out, which is not too shabby. So it's a very not short-lived June 9th tension day, followed by a June 10th resolution. But Jupiter has a nice vibe with Mercury here because he's really close to Mercury. It's good conversations, good negotiations, powerful and prosperous ideas that have stable and long-lasting impacts on your career are underway on June the 10th and 11th into June the 12th. We're going to notice that Jupiter is going to bump into Mercury, and at the same time, Venus is squaring Pluto. Let's talk about Venus-Pluto. Venus is about prosperity and good things and luck in your career gains house. And Pluto is about cathartic transformation. And beginning on about June the 8th through to the 11th, that square between Venus and Pluto is very transformative of your issues or situations around shared resources with your partner in business or love, spouse, etc., money from inheritances, money from investments in the markets, money for retirement, money from book royalties and publishing houses and ad revenue from YouTube. These are chunks of money that are not earned directly by your efforts. It's not your salary. And that kind of money with a square from Venus, the goddess of money, in a house of good spirit and windfalls and pennies from heaven could even not be difficult, but rather powerful, transformative, and regenerative of your financial gain, most specifically and most usually connected to matters of your career. And so looking for this kind of intensity, are you willing to wealth up? Are you okay being richer than you normally are? Sometimes we don't have the esteem to handle that. And so you're going to be facing some kind of options here that look fortunate, but also very deeply spiritually transformative around worth and value and resources and money and prosperity. Some juicy vibes going on here, June the 8th, maybe through to the 12th, with this Pluto square to Venus. Jupiter bumps right into Mercury. And not right into Mercury. Did I say right into Mercury? Let's get that right. What's the next aspect pattern? Sorry about that. Did I miss something for you? I don't think so. I think I talked about Mercury combining forces with Jupiter. Yes, I did. So that's already over. And then Jupiter's here. Yeah, and Mercury's here. So the next thing I want to pay attention to is the square to Saturn. With Jupiter squaring Saturn and basically Neptune all month long, we really feel the tension begin to build as Jupiter is also, well, he is trying to heal difficult stories. He's also having to have you exalt yourself in the face of adversity or challenge or constriction in work, career. Look, Saturn is a hard worker. It's either your boss or it's you're working hard or you're going to work too hard if you're not careful. Jupiter doesn't want that for you. He wants you to be prosperous, expansive, exalted, magnanimous. So there's kind of a push and pull between hard work and loving yourself, hard work and expanding your sun, your career, your home, your moon in Cancer, or your anything about your life, your health and your wellness, Jupiter on your ascendant. Clearly, a sun, moon, and rising in Cancer, anywhere between 0 to about 3 degrees of Cancer, are most profoundly and intensely impacted by this Jupiter square to Saturn, but you all do feel it nonetheless. You're going to reconcile reality with what is your hope and optimism, but you're going to err on the side of benefiting yourself because this is yours. This is your exalted transit. This is your powerful time. Okay. Saturn and Neptune are hovering together all month long. All month long. What does it mean? It just kind of means that, you have a reality check on fantastical beliefs and dreams about your career, but it also means the long game is afoot. And with Neptune up there with Saturn, the long game for your career might be to utilize Neptune, filmmaking, photography, glamour, modeling, Hollywood, videography platforms on social media, long game strategy. And you begin to look at that more clearly for the first time in a way you never have been able to, as you have this Saturn transit here with Neptune through to September 1st. And this month you begin to ponder how you can harness long game, solid, realistic strategies that involve Neptune activities and directions in your career. Mars is trining Chiron to continue to help heal that chironic wound about being on purpose in your career, aligning with your dharma and the way your unique gifts and talents are here to serve the world, how you can use your original medicine for the world. You've been pondering this since 2019, and then around June the 10th, 11th, we'll say the 8th to the 12th, Mars is trying his very best to support that healing by showing you can get rich and make money, be a self-starter, be an entrepreneur. You can do what you need to do in order to allow for your career success and purpose to both all be there. Earning money versus being on purpose and career are not mutually exclusive, says Mars. Let's work out a deal. And you say yes. I hope you say yes. The full moon on June the 11th activates this healing as well. On June the 11th, a full moon in Sagittarius lights up your 6th house. What is the 6th house? It's a house of work. It's a house of health. It's a house of pets and rental opportunities as a tenant or a landlord for property and home. Having this activation of a full light here is going to reveal or fulfill something from a seed planted on the new moon in the fall, probably back in November of 2024. What I like about this moon at 20 degrees of the sign of Sag is it lights up a fire trine with Mars in the house of earnings, savings and spending, and the moon full in the Artha 6th house of work and service, and flowing beautifully to Chiron in the career space. What a lunation in the 2 weeks that follow the June 11th moon. Look for some profound healing and alignment of purpose with money, earnings, resources, and work and job. Now, the moon will take 2 weeks to unfold and show you what it's really about, kind of the Coles notes, but over 6 months, it continues to fulfill itself. You might want to think back to maybe November, what seed you were planting for a realignment of earnings, money, work, and career success, because now it is game on. The moon will give its best flowering to that seed that was planted last fall. Would you get a rental property out of this? Because this is also the ruler of the house of property rentals. Probably not. This looks a lot more like it's focused more clearly on matters to do with your career and gains. However, you might have the ability to eliminate any credit card or mortgage debt or any kind of indebtedness through a kind of windfalls, pennies from heaven vibration, thanks to Venus. So there's another way of seeing that for sure. Now, as we continue forward, we're going to talk about Venus and Mercury in a sextile for some happy, lucky news that looks like it wants to drop onto your doorstep pretty quickly after the moon. Venus is at 5 degrees here and Mercury at 4. And the day after the lunation, they're really hooking up at 6 degrees. What looks like to me, this moon unfolds pretty quickly after it. Some good news that has to do with matters to do with you personally. For you Cancer suns, your career, moons, home-based matters, or Cancer rising, body, health, or anything else in your life. And it comes through benefic Venus in the house of good spirit. You might have a windfall, a penny from heaven. You might have some good news about a sibling one older or some benefits from that sibling one older. You might experience a transactional negotiation to increase your career gains. You might get an offer to be, powerfully seen in a public eye, to be capitalizing on, being on somebody's show, like Mercury and Venus would be podcasting or something. You might also be able to be very highly publicized in the public eye over something that you've been doing, especially if you're a teacher or a communicator. But it's a nice little sweet glow on June the 12th. On June the 12th to the 16th, the darker story is Mars squares Uranus. Now, it's a flash in the pan in a way. It doesn't last very long, but Uranus is a surprise and Mars is a change. So it looks like a change regarding your money, earnings, and income or spending connected to your house of great gains in your career. Sibling older than you could be a part of the change. It may be a surprise, or it may just be a decision you need to make about finances and changes in your earnings. Friends, allies, and benefactors get in the mix. I do like Venus here. She's protecting you with the Uranus is taking orders from Venus in her home kingdom. So it looks to me like you might end up with some kind of opportunity for increasing your career gains in a surprising way, but you need to make an action or decision in an immediate and fast way because it's a breakthrough, break-free vibration. That's the best I can say. It's going to happen at 28 degrees. And Mars is at what we call the household name degree. And if you're somebody who's in, public eye or public media, you might have a flashing success of influence or a breakthrough energy regarding your social standing, public image, the way people see you in the social media landscape as well. So maybe you have a viral hit. Something good is trying to happen. It looks like money changes, decisions around earnings, money, and spending connected to career breakthroughs is basically what the possibility might be here around June the 14th. An opportunity from an ally benefactor that blindsides you in a positive way, allowing for financial changes and breakthroughs, could also show up. Mars does rule your house of entrepreneurship, media, entrepreneurship, performing, artistic endeavors. So any of you entrepreneurs, artists, or performers are going to have a nice breakthrough vibe coming through the sky at this time. And if you're a writer in the writing and publishing industry, we're going to get to that. Jupiter is favoring you to be very successful in the next 12 months. Now, moving into the next narrative, there's always a sky story to tell, guys. There's always a sky story to tell. June 15th, Jupiter squares Neptune. Well, he's kind of doing it all month long anyway, but he really builds into the feeling, I feel this truth versus illusion, truth versus fantasy moment. Jupiter always tells the truth and he's exalted. So he's doing to give the highest truth to you about who you are in your sun, career, moon, home life, or ascendant, anything about your goals and dreams in life and the character's perspective in the simulation versus Neptune, the fantasy, the dream, the illusion you have about what's possible and realistic in your career. There's a kind of like a truth-telling clarity that wants to come through, and you might have a new idea because of Mercury. The more clear about what's realistic and possible and what's true can lead to Mercury, new ideas for how to proceed, and that plays out June 15th throughout the rest of the month. On June 19th to the 21st, Mars will sextile Jupiter. Now, this is only possible because yet another planet is changing signs. We're going to watch Mars cross into the next sign boundary, which is now your third house. Mars has been in your second house mid-April to June 17th because of his slow passage through retrogradation prior. And technically, you might find that this is a time where you're now no longer concerned about money, earning, spending. your money focus is leaving, and you're moving into third house focus with Mars is ambition, decisions, actions, and momentum, passion. Now, if you're a writer, you could have 6 weeks of writing, like you're going to not stop. If you're a social media beast, you're plowing through it. If you're a teacher, skills-based learning teacher, or studying a skills-based learning, you're going to be passionately engaged in actions and decisions regarding that, determination and pushing through. And that's something might be focused on for quite a while. 6 weeks basically. So keep that in mind. That's going to start up, as I said, on the 17th of June. So a sibling one younger than you and travel to short distance travel is here, like commuting or just traveling around your country, caravanning. There might be some travel connected to a sibling younger than you, or there may be some challenges in the life of the sibling one younger than you. Not necessarily negative, because Venus is still trining the Virgo house. So just changes in the life of a sibling one younger. You might be dealing a lot more with the aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. And I'll be doing a whole video on this transit, but keep in mind that there's a sea change of energy here. Mars is now thinking more about third house. If you're a writer, a communicator, a teacher, if you're in the social media landscape, this is going to give you some advantage, because as he goes through here, he looks up at Venus, and there's a lot of luck that comes from doing those things I just described, a lot of ease and flow as well. Now, one of the things that happens next in our sky, in the exciting story of our lives, is that Mars is going to talk to Jupiter for good fortune. He really picks up the conversation by the 18th of the month. And by the 19th, Mars at 1 degree, Jupiter at 2, you're really starting to feel it. So I'd say from the 19th to the 21st, Mars and Jupiter are going to create good fortune in your life, lucky breaks through actions, decisions, and momentum that you're creating to travel short distances, to engage in skills-based learning or teaching, to engage in writing projects, to engage in social media activities, third house. This is all going to favor you. Your daily life can get Martian. You're going to exercise more. You're going to do more routines that benefit your body, your health, or your career success, or your home life success. So all of, Mars likes to move, and this is a local neighborhood. So you join the gym, you join you join the walking club, you join the gardening club. This is Virgo. And there's things in your local environment, the neighborhood, so to speak, that are action oriented. Some of you could want to change your neighborhood with this transit. And with Jupiter ruling the house of rental properties and Venus bringing you luck as the ruler of the fourth house, at some point, some of you may consider the possibility of a change of neighborhood during the 6 weeks from this transit's onset. On June the 21st, the sun is also moving signs, and the sun moves into its ingress or movement into our solstice on the 20th, 21st of June, and connects with Jupiter. And the combination of Jupiter's sun is extremely fortunate. In one way, Jupiter's sun simply says we're going to begin to focus on lighting up your health, if you're a rising sign, your career, if it's a sun in Cancer, or your home-based success, if home, real estate, property, if it's a Cancer moon that's listening to this podcast today. And with Mercury co-present, negotiating, communicating are favored on all of these areas I just mentioned. You can negotiate the new job. You can negotiate the new home situation. You're negotiating, communicating powers, deal-making powers are highlighted at this time. Now, as the sun is ingressed here, of course, it does square Saturn, it does square Neptune. We're all dealing with that square on the cardinal axis. You could have some kind of conflict with a male authority figure in a position of power, a little bit of a difficult conversation with somebody in your work setting placement. Saturn rules your marriage house, so also difficult conversations about marriage and marriage partnerships, maybe in context of your reputation with your partner or your career, what you're doing in your career. So there's all that kind of intensity going on, but you have a superpowered Jupiter supporting you for it to work out in your favor. So I'm not too worried about it. Sun and Mars are also in a beautiful conversation with Jupiter now. And so it's like, it looks like you're going to be able to be more successful than you imagined. If you wanted to launch a course to teach, start studying something, learning a skill, you wanted to travel somewhere locally or short distance because you really wanted to write or communicate or set up a social media platform or a website, then you've got extraordinary luck with the Sun-Jupiter conjunction flowing to Mars. And so I capitalize on that June the 21st to the 25th. Now, there's a moon coming in. The new moon is at 4 degrees of Cancer on the 25th of June. This is one of the best moons of this year. And it's because Jupiter is midwifing it right there. He's blessing the moon. And it's a fresh start and a new beginning. And Mercury says, I can use it to communicate, negotiate, ideate success and prosperity into my life. Every new moon is about a 6-month unfoldment, with the first 2 weeks afterwards showing you what it's truly about. This lunation is allowing for also a bit of a chironic healing about purpose and career, while at the same time offering up prosperity and career gains through work, through livelihood, through things you do to be of service to the world. And it also could possibly even invite you to a longer term course of study, a decision maybe in the months that follow to go off to school or university or study with a guide or teacher or mentor in something you're going to apply to a new career direction or path. If you're in the book publishing industry, this is going to give you a glow up for writing and publishing success stories beyond something that you've seen as a possibility in the last 12 years, right? So this is a new level of success or a new level of potential luck in that area. And when the idea of having Mercury here, Mercury is, complicit in the moon. Mercury can translate some of this success from this lunation to the writing house, the social media house, to the communications house. So go for it. It's a really nice time for you to succeed in some of your long range goals and dreams that also connect to what you want to accomplish as an authority or a master in some area of career success. And if you're a teacher, some of you may be guides, mentors, coaches, or teachers. That's a Jupiterian profession. This is going to give you greater success than you've had before in a new kind of fresh way. Now, leaving that lunation behind, we're going to talk about a surprise as Mercury sextiles Uranus. And there's going to be something that comes at you, maybe in a way you did not anticipate, but it's going to be a positive surprise. So don't be afraid of it. Mercury will sextile Uranus, and you'll feel this kind of as a June the 25th, 6th day of surprise. And it could be like information or news that's very positive from an ally, benefactor, a sibling one older than you. Could be very positive and surprisingly positive news or information coming from a friend, an ally. It could come through a great kind of sense of windfalls or pennies from heaven, or an unexpected career gain. Influence in social groups and celebrity can be involved, but like it's a nice little pop of good luck in the career gains itself. Now, you might do something to create that. You might put out a message into the world that day. I'd harness that to deliver a social media post into the world. But whatever it is, it's all positive and it's a surprise. And it can increase your prosperity as well when it comes to the career space that you're already in. Mercury will move on the 26th, 27th, time zone dependent, into the sign of Leo, where he's going to spend 2 whole months plus until September 2nd, because he will retrograde here. Now, this is where you're applying Mercury to earnings and savings. Well, Mercury is an abacus, tabulator, accountant as well. So you're going to really look more analytically at your money, your savings, your earnings, and begin to assess it so that as you trine Saturn, you can bring stable earnings and career gains that are fantastically visionary into your realm of my earnings, my savings, my career money is aligned with Saturn's long game strategy. When Mercury is spending time here, you might also have new ideas for ways to make money. And you can also be more commercially successful here, like Mercury is selling, marketing, and success as you gain strength here. I like the trine to Saturn because it's all very realistic and very long game strategy, not just a day in the life of, but rather how can you stabilize long-term money in a consistent manner over time, especially through till September 1st, with Saturn still in your 10th house. Money from the past can return to you because of July's retrograde, but we'll talk more about that in July. I noticed that, of course, he's going to be opposite Pluto at the beginning of this journey, and there may be some cathartic Phoenix rising reinvention, regeneration regarding money, especially money you share from inheritances, investments, money with your spouse. There may be intensity, but also renewal financially. Oh, I love the fact that it also creates the wedge to Saturn, financial regeneration and renewal. is showing up for you here in ways that allow for sustainable long-term financial gain through career strategy and planning. And this could also be structural changes as well, like maybe the way you make money, maybe you'll incorporate, maybe there's other structures you're going to put into place for your career success. And you might have a transformative opportunity to rise to new success, to being recognized as a leader, authority, or master in some area of your work and career. The esteem of others comes upon you, and you begin to generate even more career monetary success and reputation success. And this turning point mercurial field of energy feels very active in your sky and understood by you to be true. June 27th through to the end of the month. Teaser alert: in July, Venus and Uranus collide at the end of Taurus in your windfalls and pennies from heaven. Some of what I'm talking about now is a ka-ching, ka-ching in the first week of July as you rake in some bullseye moments financially from your career. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Come see me in Sky Reader to be your own astrologer, time your best life. A crow flew in front of my window for you guys just now. So you get crow medicine supporting your journey in this time of Jupiter's exaltation of you. I'll see you guys hopefully in other videos where I'll be diving into each separate story each week with the minor asteroids and all of the fixed stars and all the other details I cannot do in this overview. Have a wonderful, wonderful month of June.